Welcome to the Blow Your Mind podcast. If you're trying to figure out who you are, where you're headed, or how to trust yourself in the middle of it all, this show is for you. I'm Erika. I grew up in a trailer park on food stamps, and I went on to build a multi-8-figure award-winning company without a safety net and without pretending it was easy. I'm now a CEO, a best-selling author, and a philanthropist. And what I've learned is this: real confidence isn't a feeling. It's self-trust built through evidence. This is a place for real conversations. You'll hear from me and occasionally my husband, Chris, as we talk honestly about real life and the standards and decisions that separate talk from results. Let's blow your mind. Have you ever told somebody something and then you weren't believed? And you think about how that made you feel? Can you imagine telling somebody something when you were 12 years old and they actually do believe you, but then nobody does anything about it? That's what happened to me. I am a sexual abuse survivor within my own family. I was 12 years old and I had the courage to tell my mom. So it wasn't right. Something wasn't right. And she believed me. And at the time, she actually shared that it happened to her too. And that she was going to tell the family and we were going to do something about this. This wasn't going to happen to anyone else. And interesting things happened after that moment. I think a lot of discussions happened with my family. We're also a Mexican-American family. We were in a small little racist town at the time. And so at the time it was very much hey, we're a family unit and blood is thicker than water. And we promise it's never going to happen to you again. But can we just be quiet about it? And can we just stick together as a family and just move forward? And the thing about that is the way you can start to feel about yourself, and am I worth protecting, and what does this mean, and would it have been better if they didn't believe me, if I had for my whole life felt like, gosh, maybe I could have said it differently, maybe they would have done something if they would have believed that it was true, but it was just a completely different experience when they actually absolutely do believe that it is true. And then you find out it happened to other members in your family, your cousins, and nothing happened. I want to welcome you to the Blow Your Mind podcast episode. Whew, this one's a heavy one. And it's heavy for a lot of reasons, because today we're going to talk about the first part of my framework, the Blow Your Mind framework, and it's all around identity and who you are in the world and who do you want to be in the world. But before you can do that, right, you see from other people who say, you just got to decide who you are and then just fake it till you make it. And that's really tough. How do you just fake it till you make it? But also, how do you just get to decide who you are when inside you might be feeling all of the stories that you believe are true about yourself based on things that have happened to you? The story I shared to me signaled that I wasn't worth protecting, that maybe survival was the best that I could hope for in life. And I just needed to be a good girl and stick with the family and continue to move forward. And don't worry, it's never going to happen again. That led to years of unworthiness and a lack of confidence and low self-esteem that are just beyond. My dad also left when I was really young. He actually fell in love with my mom's best friend and had a whole other family. And I was a daddy's girl. And I just still remember that day. He brought us home and he was unzipping my jacket and he didn't unzip his. And I was like, well, what's happening? And he told us that day that I have a new family now, and you're just going to have to understand that. Another really hard moment in my life of just not being chosen, not being picked, right? In my whole life, if I was ever not picked to be on a team, if I was ever not chosen by my friends, I don't think anything was going to hurt as bad as my own dad not choosing me. And again, what are the stories that you tell yourself about that moment, that my own father didn't pick me? So what does that say about me? My own family didn't want to do anything beyond us just staying quiet and just creating, distance. What does that say about me? If you've been listening and following along, I shared the story of the time that I got fired, where now it wasn't just my dad that didn't take me, it was my boss who said, I don't want you on the team. You start to really realize how much of your identity is shaped by the experiences that you've had in your life, but also what you believe is true about yourself based on experiences that have happened and shaped you. And that's the cost of not choosing yourself, is when you start to believe the stories about yourself. Like, every single one of us is living inside a story we didn't consciously choose. Stories like, I'm not enough, or I have to prove myself, or I can't trust people, or I'm the one who has to hold it all together. But you guys, like, these aren't facts. These aren't truths about our lives. If I talked to any of my family or friends today and said, do you believe I'm not worthy? They would say, no, of course not. We're so proud of you. Look at all of the things you've accomplished. But these are deep-seated things that I've had to live with, that you've had to live with, when you think about what are the stories that you believe about yourself that aren't true. And that's the beautiful thing about the framework, is you get to decide who you want to be. And I believe we all must decide who we're going to be next. Like, it is an honor, it is a privilege of our lives that we get to just decide today in this moment. Because identities, they are formed in these moments that we live. And the hardest part is that we do start to build our lives based on the identities that we have. And yes, you can achieve success from your survival identity. You can build companies from it. You can look like you have it all together on the outside. I think if most people met me today, they would be like, oh my God, she's been confident the whole time. Look at all of the things that she's doing. She wrote a book. She goes on the news. She can be on TV. She built this company. She's got it all figured out. And I can't tell you the amount of times my husband has found me crying in my closet, which is like my sanctuary, my safe space, where I'm like, why is it so hard? And I know we all have these moments because we are human, but it's also fighting with the story of yourself every time you want to take the risk, every time you want to do something different. For me, when I decided I was going to start showing up on social media in a different way, I started to think, like, what will people think? Why do we care so much about what people will think, right? They're actually probably cheering you on, even if they're not commenting, and even if they're not liking. You can be an inspiration. You can be an example of what is possible. And so as you think about identity in my framework, I talk a lot about not only first deciding what is the identity that you want for yourself. For me, I always knew I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be a builder. I wanted to be a problem solver. I wanted to be somebody who trusts myself. I wanted to be somebody who does the things that she says that she's going to do, and like blow people's mind. And I finally got to look back and be like, oh my God, I think I've blown my own mind. But it's not just really deciding who you're going to be. It's writing that down for sure. It's okay, here is who I want to be. But what identity shifts actually need to change in your own mind to make that identity become a reality? And what I mean by identity shifts is, for example, my identity shifts are, I speak up for myself in every situation, because I want to be a leader. I want to be a builder. I want to be a problem solver. But to know in my mind, the identity shift is I speak up for myself in every situation makes me proud. Or I do the things I say I'm going to do. The days that I don't want to work out, and let me tell you, I hate working out. I hate it. But it's been really amazing to be in children's hospitals when I do work out and a child gets so excited and they run into my arms and they fall into them and they're connected to all of the machines, and I can hold them because my legs are steady, because all of those squats I didn't want to do actually paid off. All of those things really matter, because the identity I said was, I work out when I say I'm going to show up when I say I'm going to. And what all of that leads to, when you really sit down and say, here is who I want to be, here is the identity shifts that I want to make, it leads to somebody who follows through, somebody who other people can trust. But most importantly, it leads to you realizing you can trust yourself. Every time I do a workout that I didn't want to do, after that, I'm like, man, I really am a person who does what she says she's going to do. And it doesn't always have to be working out. My identity shifts have been like, I take care of my body, which was also something that was not taught to me early on in my life. And now if you follow me on Instagram, you see I do my morning face immersion, where I literally put my face in a cold bowl of ice and water, and it wakes me up. It resets my nervous system. It does a lot for me. for even just like my mindset, but also as like a ritual. These are like my morning rituals that ground me and set me up for the rest of my day. And when I do those kinds of things, again, it's this like, this is who I said I was going to be. This is the life I want to lead. And this is the identity of who I am. And I can just decide that. One day I just decided I was going to do this super well. My friend, Lauren Pronger, shout out to you because you taught it to me. 3 seconds or 3 times 10 seconds. And that's all you need to start your day in any bowl that you have. I even do it when I travel. But when I decided I'm going to start doing this face immersion, and then I decided I'm going to start sharing it online, the amount of people who have practiced it for themselves sent me like, I did my morning face immersion today. You start to see the ripple effect of what is possible when you put yourself out there, when you do something different. And it really, today, my mind blown moment is that you can just decide. And I think it's deciding with intention, and it's deciding with a commitment. You know, when I was in my 20s, I went to therapy. I've been through a lot of therapy for a lot of things that I've been through in my life. I've been working on myself for a really long time. But my therapist at the time had said, just put a sticky note on your bathroom that says, I am worthy, and just look at it every single day. And you guys, I did. Every day I'm like brushing my teeth. And I think sometimes I like brushed really hard because I would read this note and just be like, I am worthy. I'm worthy. But as you probably imagine, like nothing happened because it was just an affirmation on a sticky note. You cannot rewrite your identity with a sentence, with an affirmation that's on a mirror of a window. I truly believe you cannot build the life that you want out of the life that you survived or the identity that you survived. I want to say that again. You cannot build the life that you want out of the identity of the life that you survived. If I kept believing all of those stories about me that weren't true, I would never have said yes to be on TV, to write a book, to take on tiny superheroes. And now I've built a company. I have employees. We have impacted over 100 million patients. We are transforming pediatric care across America because I decided who my identity was, that I'm not that girl from the trailer park on food stamps. I'm not that girl that doesn't get chosen. I'm not the girl that's not worthy of being protected. And I'm not going to look at a sticky note that says I am worthy and try to make myself feel differently. No, I'm going to decide who I am. And so that's what I want for you today. I want you to take time thinking about what are the stories that you believe about yourself that just aren't true, that you have believed are facts for so long and they're not. And then I want you to start dreaming of who you want to be and write it down, hold it for yourself, and make the commitment to yourself that you're going to start making some identity shifts to get you to who you're becoming. Thank you so much for being here with me. I don't take it for granted, and I feel really connected to all of you. I'm imagining all of you in your lives in different states and different places, and hoping that something and some part of today's show really touched a nerve with you, or that there's some moment that you had where you're like, oh my God, maybe those things aren't true about myself. I think about you guys a lot, and I also have been thinking about the courage that it's taken to come out and to share my story and to be here with all of you. And I want to hear about some of the things that you might not have, that you've believed are true about you your whole life and realized that they're not facts and they're not true. And DM me, message me, take the moment and be brave and put yourself out there and decide who you want to be, because it is such a privilege that we do get to do for ourselves. And that's pretty awesome. So thank you for being on the show, and I can't wait till next time. We'll see you then. Thanks for listening to the Blow Your Mind podcast. If something you heard today stayed with you, that's your cue. Apply one idea. Keep one promise to yourself this week, because that's how you blow your mind. If this helped you build proof, shift your identity, or have an aha moment, share your receipts on Instagram and tag me at Erika_Sinner. Leave a review wherever you're listening so more people can find this work and blow their minds too. I'll see you next time.